Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. As we know, the Asian Games men's football tournament kicked off with the group stage fixtures on Tuesday, and a total of 21 teams are vying for a spot in the knockout stage. Now, Indonesia began their campaign in Group F alongside Kyrgyzstan, Chinese Taipei, and North Korea. And the Garuda squad have so far played 2 matches and have come out with 1 win and 1 loss. So today, we're going to talk more about their chances of moving ahead with a friend of the program, tactical analyst Muhammad Yusuf Raihan. Good morning, Mas Raihan. Thank you for being with us once again. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me as well.
Well, you're the right person to have here because obviously we're going to try to peel back the layers and see how well Indonesia is doing in regards to their chances looking forward as well. But before we get into the brass tacks and the analytics of it all, how do you see Coach Indra Shafri's overall strategy so far, considering we have come out with 1 win and 1 loss as a result?
Yeah, well, obviously, I think it was a disappointing result in the last game against Chinese Taipei.
Yes.
Yeah, we lost 1-0, and I thought that was a pretty horrid performance from us.
Okay.
But obviously, there were some positive signs as well to take in from the first game against Kyrgyzstan, where we controlled the game well with the ball. We tried to exploit the defensive structure of the opposition, and I thought that was pretty successful for the most part. And yeah, there are a lot of positive signs from those 2 games. But obviously, overall, I think given how we lost against Chinese Taipei and how well we started against Kyrgyzstan, I think to gain only 3 points from a possible 6 is pretty disappointing.
At least we're going to come out with a draw, right?
Yeah. That is the bare minimum, I think.
What did you see different that the Indonesian team did from the game against Kyrgyzstan and the one against Chinese Taipei?
Yeah, I think that the difference is that we were more worse in decision making in the final third against the Chinese Taipei. We're going to discuss about that later, but the crossing, I think
just the finishing, right?
Yeah, just the finishing part is just a whole lot disappointing in the second game rather than the first.
Okay, so still 1 match to go and some ground to make up. Let's break down the match tactics a little bit and go into your analysis of what's happened so far. Could you elaborate what kind of tactical insights and predictions that we have seen after these 2 matches in anticipation of our final match against North Korea?
Yeah, so I think we're going to discuss about the starting 11s first against Kyrgyzstan and Chinese Taipei, where I think there are some things that are pretty unique, I might feel, because here we have Syahrian Abimanyu playing as the number 10 in the first game, which isn't really his natural role. He is more of a number 6 or a number 8 type of player who dictates the play from deep, so from this sort of area, and he is not exactly used to this role, you know. He is not exactly like your Mesut Ozil or Juan Román Riquelme. So yeah, he has that passing range, of course, he has the vision, and that's why he is one of the most creative midfielders in Liga 1, but this is not exactly his role, and that experiment wasn't exactly the most successful. I think Indra Shafri switched everything up in the second half, so he plays more as the number 8, so in this type of spaces. But so that is the unique thing about the first game.
And there was an adjustment that you noticed at halftime, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the major one.
We switched things up in the second half. And here as well, you have Robbie Darwish. He is actually a central midfielder playing as a makeshift right back, even though there is this natural right back in Bagas Kaffa. And yeah, I think the main idea from having Robbie here is that his athleticism, his stamina, his work rate, it is vital for the fullbacks in Indra Shafri's system, because he wants his fullbacks to fly, he wants his fullbacks to advance into the final third. And this, Egy and Ramai Rumakik, so they will play more narrow, so they would play in this sort of spaces.
As Robbie pushes up.
Yeah, and both of these players, they can push up a lot further high. And yeah, I think that is the main idea of Indra Shafri's tactics. And also in Chinese Taipei, so he switched things up, so you have now Abimanyu playing more as the number 8 and with these 2 box-to-box players. But I think what we missed out on the most is up front. So we have Titan starting both these games. usually you would have Ramadan Sananta there, but obviously he is not available as he is being called back by Persis Solo because he is important for their league campaign. Persis Solo hasn't really exactly started the league campaign so far this season well. They are dangling in the mid-table, and yeah, Ramadan Sananta is now back with Persis Solo, and we really missed him up front because Ramadan Sananta, he is a predator in the box. He is really good with his movement, and Titan, even though he is a hard worker, he is defensively solid, but you know, he does not really offer the same thing that Sananta offers just in and around the box. So yeah.
We've been talking about this before the Asian Games in regards to a lot of the Liga Satu or National Leagues players, several of them not actually being given permission to play for the national team. How much do you think that has impacted Coach Indra Shafri and the way he's had to kind of restructure his lineup?
Yeah, that obviously impacts things. And obviously they have their own interests, and I think it's fair on Liga Satu clubs if they do not want to let the players go.
Sure, it happens all the time in international football.
Because this is not, they're not obliged to let the players go as well, because this is not a FIFA match day. And Eric Thohir said that as well regarding Ramadan Sananta, that they're not obliged. So it is fair for them because they also have to focus on their own clubs as well.
Conflicting schedules as well.
Yeah, and obviously Indonesia, you know, we still have a lot of players.
Sure.
And you have Ramai Rumaki as well playing for Liga 2 club Persipura. So there's a lot of hidden gems there, and you know, we have a lot of players at our disposal that can be used.
Several of them that we know is Rizky Rido, Egy Maulana, Rahmat Irianto were able to join the squad. Would you identify them or any other players as the key players for this under-24 national team?
I would say those two are the fair guys. Well, they are probably the most senior players here. Rizky Rido captaining this national team side in the Asian Games. He is incredible. I think we're going to discuss about him later. I think his best qualities are on the ball. And Egy as well, like wonder kid. And even though he hasn't exactly set the world alight with his ability as of now, but you know,
potential is still there.
Yeah, he still has the potential. But yeah, you know, those two are, I think, the key players for us.
All right, so in terms of tactics, how does this Asian Games squad compare to both the senior and the under-23 teams? Are there any, we discussed this briefly before coming on air, Indra Shafri was appointed to take this team into the Asian Games, but what are some of the tactical differences between him and Shin Tae-yong?
So yeah, I think we're probably going to go into the next slide. And you know, let's talk about some things that Indra Shafri did with this team. So we discussed about this early on, that the narrow wingers, I think that's a feature that Indra Shafri really likes from his team. So this helps especially Egy because he is not exactly the winger with the most explosive pace. He does not have that burst that he showed in junior football, because senior football is a much different beast, you know. And by playing here, he is not really as isolated as he would be here. So he would have a lot of players to connect with. So so yeah, here he can have a lot of more options to play with, and I think that this is really beneficial for him because his key ability is to find spaces in tight areas. So he would dazzle through, he would ooze through tight spaces, he would go past his opponent, and in this area he can make combination plays with other players. And also Ramai Rumakik, I think he is more fearless with his dribbling. He is not afraid to take his man on, and yeah, these narrow wingers, I think that is the most distinguished feature of Indra Shafri's tactics.
One of the keys for their success against Kyrgyzstan, would you say?
Yeah, I think so, because Egy Maulana Fikri and Ramai Rumakik, obviously he scored the goal, and yeah, his movement with the ball is really impressive, I think, and his raw potential, his rawness, I think, is what makes the difference for Indonesia.
Honestly, I haven't heard much of him before this tournament because he plays in the second division of our professional league.
He actually played in the Singapore AFF, so 2021.
Yes, that's right. That's where I've heard his name. Okay.
And I think what we did really well as well against Kyrgyzstan is that we exploited the defensive structure of Kyrgyzstan really well because they did not want to commit fully for a man-to-man marking. So they have this player, a free man,
floating, basically.
Yeah, just floating here, covering this area, but that meant that here, there's a lot of space for us here.
Okay.
And we were able to bypass the defensive structure horizontally really well. There's a lot of switching, so passing the ball from this side to the other. And here, you can have like a 3v2 or a 2v1, and that is exactly what happened in the first goal for Ramai Rumakik, where we won the ball just here and then switched the ball to the other side. Ramai Rumakik carried the ball, and with his dribbling ability, he found himself in this area, in this dangerous area, and took a shot here. And yeah, it was a great finish. I think he is one of the players to watch.
You say that it's always great when you make full use of the width of the field.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's one of the main principles of, I think, Indra Shafri's system.
Right. Let's move on as well. Let's have a look at the comparisons.
Oh, or maybe...
Oh, you've got another, yes, more
maybe
statistics.
We can, discuss about the game against Chinese Taipei, where, you know, our fullbacks were far more advanced, I think, in their positioning. They were more aggressive, and still we have these two narrow wingers. But against Chinese Taipei, they were more disciplined defensively, I think. They played with more of a 4-4-2 shape, where this guy can cover for
to mark,
the
right?
lone pivot, yeah, and easy to mark as well. So the spaces that were afforded by them were just here. And yeah, we actually found them a lot in the game, so we could get into this area. But the thing is, against Chinese Taipei, they were really disciplined in defending this area. So just in front of the goal, they were
loading up.
Yeah, they were loading up players a lot of here. But what I saw in that game is that we were crossing the ball aimlessly, so we did not pick our heads up. We did not scan the pitch. So there were instances where here is the open space, but we kept just crossing the ball here.
Okay.
So that was, I think, the major reason why we couldn't score a goal, even though we controlled the possession, even though we had the ball a lot often in the final third. But you know, because we did not have the vision, the decision making wasn't exactly the best, and as you can see the statistics here, it is pretty damning. You know, 4 out of 15 crosses completed. It's pretty poor, and yeah, the thing is with these fullbacks, I don't think they are the best offensively, especially you know, Robbie Darwish, a makeshift right back, usually playing as a central midfielder. He is probably not used to this task as well. So yeah, Chinese Taipei, and they scored from a throw-in, and due to lack of anticipation. I think that is also one problem of our team, that we are not really concentrated when defending. So yeah.
Do you think height has something to do with this? Because we know Chinese Taipei are quite good in the air, and we do know that they're quite tall. So perhaps is that a difficulty that the Indonesian offense had?
Yeah, that is definitely one factor. But you know, height isn't everything. So if you look at Manchester City, they actually utilize a lot of crossing, and they're not really exactly the tallest team apart from Erling Haaland, of course. But you know, what they did is that they utilized the cutbacks a lot often. So you can see Ilkay Gundogan just creeping up in this areas. That is
finding the open space and being more accurate.
That is the thing with crossing. It is not exactly about the height. It is not exactly about the physicality side of things, but it is more about searching for the open spaces.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think obviously Ramadan Sananta as well. We were missing out on him. He probably could have made the difference had he started or had he played in this game. But, you know, you have to utilize what you have. So.
Okay. All right, let's have a look at what you've got next.
So yeah, let's talk about some of the key players that
I love this chart, by the way. Let's have a look.
So yeah, we mentioned about him earlier on. Egimon Fikri, I think he is probably one of the key players that if we are going to get a result against North Korea, he will have to step up. So I think what he is really good at is these two. So expected assist and shot assist, and also this cross completion. So expected assist and shot assist means like shot assist is basically chance created that is passing the ball, passes that leads to shots.
Okay.
So he is in the 84th percentile, and expected assist as well. So that judges the quality of the chances created.
So basically 4 of his 5 passes will be generated into a shot, pretty much.
So it's not exactly that, but he is better than 84% of other wingers than
okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, expected assist as well, and cross completion. So he is accurate with his crosses despite not having a lot of volume on that.
Right.
But he is still really good technically, and also even though it is not exactly
strength,
but 74.2 percentile on successful dribbles, that is a pretty good number as well. So
definitely.
yeah, I think he has a lot to show for in the future again. But the thing is that he is producing output already for Dewa United. I think he is one of the top chance creators for Indonesian players only. And yeah, I think his move to Dewa United has been an inspiring comeback. I think he has struggled a bit, but now he got himself back into the national team setup.
Right.
And yeah, I'm happy for him. And I think that he still has that potential. He has that ability to take the next step and be the leading, one of the leading wingers in the Indonesian national team.
Definitely. All right. Anything else? What have you got next?
So the other player, I think the best player for us in this national team is Rizky Ridho, the captain, obviously. And I think I think what is his best asset is his possession. So you can see this is
really off the charts almost.
Incredible.
Yeah.
His passes to final third, his progressive passes. So, and his progressive runs as well. So he can carry the ball as well.
Okay.
And yeah, he is, I think, the best ball-playing center back that we have in Liga 1 currently. And yeah, obviously he is really composed with the ball. He is really calm in pressured situations, and he is also active in defensive situations. So 92.9 percentile on defensive duels. So he is more of that aggressive type of center back that is proactive. And yeah, I really love him. I think he has the potential to make it in the bigger Asian leagues. So probably he can take the next step to maybe Thailand or Japan, hopefully in the future, or Korea. But you know, he probably, Persija isn't exactly the worst club to develop with. And yeah, I think he's incredible. I think yeah, he can be the mainstay for our Indonesian national team for the next 5 or 10 years.
Okay, so definitely a lot of potential there, but potential can only take you so far because we are now sitting, and we discussed this earlier, 3rd place?
Yeah, 3rd place. Yeah.
So 3rd place, and I guess it all depends on this final match result, which should now ask you, what do you see happening in this final group stage match? It's going to be quite crucial, by the way. Could you explain the situation between being a runner-up and being a 3rd?
So I think that first off, we are going to face North Korea in the last group stage match day, which is going to be a little bit tricky, and because we don't really know how strong North Korea is right now because of a 4-year hiatus from international sporting world. We only know that they have won the last 2 games against Kyrgyzstan and Chinese Taipei, which is probably a fair assessment of their quality right now, maybe. But you know, they're still a bit of an unknown entity, and I think that we still can gain a result from them. I'm not exactly optimistic that we can top the group right now, but if we were to maybe get a draw against them, we can finish as the runners-up. But that means that we are going to play South Korea in the round of 16, which is obviously tough.
That's an understatement.
You know, South Korea, they have an extra motivation as well if they can win the gold medal, they are rewarded with reduced military service, which plays into this tournament. And yeah, they are bringing a strong team as well. So you have players like Won-sang, Ulsan Hyundai Starman. So you have Baek Seung-ho as well, midfield general for Jeonbuk Hyundai. And also you have Jong Woo-young, who is actually a former Bayern München player who is now playing at SC Freiburg in Bundesliga. So they're bringing a strong team. So
world class.
Yeah, world class. So finishing as runners-up is not favorable.
Not really a reward. So let me get this straight. We want to finish as third, but one of the best third-place teams, because you did mention a couple of the best third-place teams will get to advance.
Yeah, so the best 4 third-place teams will qualify for the round of 16.
Okay.
But, you know, it's still up in the air as well, whether we can get that.
Right.
Because, you know, you don't want to take chances.
Correct. It's also another risk to take of not advancing.
So I think a guarantee in second place is still better.
Okay.
And we can test ourselves again, one of the best national teams in Asia. But, you know, the most ideal situation is that we win against North Korea, and we finish as the top
of the group.
Top of the group. And the chances are we are going to play either Bahrain, Thailand, or Kuwait. So it's still up in the air in Group E. But, you know, finishing as runners-up, even though it's a guarantee, but it's going to be tough.
Gotcha.
Against South Korea.
So you see a better outcome for us than the 2018 Asian Games?
Well, I'm not pretty sure about that because we qualified for the round of 16.
Yes.
We missed out on the quarterfinals by penalty loss.
Oh, that's right. It went into penalties.
Yeah, it stings. But, you know, I'm not exactly optimistic that we can get into like the quarterfinals, especially if we're going to face South Korea. But if we can finish top of the group, then I'm a bit more optimistic because the opponent, it's manageable.
A little easier.
Yeah, it's manageable, I think.
All right, thank you so much, Mas Raihan. As always, love to have your tactical breakdown as well as your analysis. We do hope for the best for the Indonesian national football team. A tough road ahead, but let's hope that they can overcome it. We got to take another short break here. A quick reminder to follow us on our social media accounts. We're on Twitter, X, Instagram, and YouTube at CToday News. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.